So Tesla has released exciting new videos of their Optimus humanoid robot, and it's time for another over-the-horizon breakdown with Scott Walter, Gustav Andersson, and Mehrdad Farimi. Scott, you're the marathoner.
Mehrdad, what were you about to say something?
Yeah, so I was talking to one of the Tesla employees, and he said that. So, what do you call this version of Tesla? This golden one,
the 2.5.
Exactly. Yeah. He said version Gen 3 is coming soon, with less than 2 months. So
2 weeks.
yeah, and he said there are significant improvements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've heard.
I thought you were making a joke there.
No.
Yes.
2 months. 2 months. That was supposed to be 2 weeks. I mean, 2 weeks.
They still don't have a website for this bot, so I don't know how seriously they are taking it.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. All the information is people like us just grabbing video frames and then posting it out there, and that's always been the source for Optimus. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Doesn't have the website. Okay, so
speaking of which,
I do have some slides. We are seeing this, and we're going to be seeing kind of the exact same thing here. And I will go ahead and start this video, which will hopefully go back and forth. So looking at that, is Optimus walking quickly? Is Optimus jogging or running?
I know the Olympic sport walking, then you're not allowed to lift both feet from the ground. So this would be the opposite then, that you should have both feet off the ground.
Yes, exactly. So that means you have to have what's referred to as a flight phase, where both feet are off the ground for a little bit. And I was able to find one frame in there you can do it. There's a couple others that are very close, but it's like always hard because it's moving so fast and the frame rate is not quite right. But this is clearly both of them up there. And you'll see a couple instances. So officially running that you can go that. It passes the Olympic test, no doubt about it. Some other things that are rather interesting is you may have noticed.
So hang on, you're saying the pace qualifies as running and not jogging?
The gait does. So it's
what about the pace, the rate and the speed at which it's running?
The pace doesn't. Basically the pace doesn't matter. I don't think there is actually and if you have to be running so fast. I mean, usually jogging and running are considered running. Jogging is just a slow run. But to be officially jogging, you also have to have this little airborne or flight phase going on there where both feet are off the ground. And walking, you always have to have at least 1 foot in contact with the ground. So that means this officially is a run. And then now what you'll notice is what happens with the toe box here in a few situations that it does something weird. We've seen this before. It happened in the dance videos, and I already explained what was going on there, because this is an articulated toe box, not an actuated toe box. So it does have a spring that's in there that's absorbing the energy and hopefully giving it back. But it's rather curious why it does that. That's not happening because of the impact. It's happening for another reason. And it's more likely this, and the fact that the mechanism opens up, and which, as you can see, it creates that little crevice when it opens up, which means it exposes it to, ingress. So small pebbles and stuff like that can get stuck in there, which would keep it from closing. But the main thing, as you can see, is that as the foot kind of drags back, that lower corner there will catch, and you'll end up getting this movement. So you end up getting a force down the corner. It's going to just kind of create that torque, which is why that's going to go up. There's another way that can happen as well, which I think is actually happening a little bit different. That is, you're just smushing down in that crevice and it causes it to go up, because that seems to be what's actually happening. So that's one possible way. And so here we can see the foot, and we can see just before you have the heel strike. And then you can see there's clearly two frames where the foot is nice and flat. And in some frames, you can look at it and you might say like a little jiggle on the toe box, but it's really a little bit. That's more from the impact, but it's very, very slight. But then you also
saw that same jiggle in the dance videos.
Yeah. But this was more of like it forcing it down. So that jiggle is like, you have to look at it really close. It's barely anything. This is pronounced because the foot, as it starts to flex forward to do the toe off, is crushing that joint. All the pressure is on the joint, so it causes it to pop up, and then eventually it hits probably like a hard stop, and then it comes over, and now it makes proper contact with the floor as you continue along. So that's
I'm surprised
that's
they haven't put a shoe on
exactly.
Optimus
Would that
yet.
solve it or make it worse?
It is already a shoe. I mean, that foot is already kind of a shoe. They just should have made a proper sole in the bottom. And why that wasn't closed, I don't know why. It seems like it's fairly easy to put a sole on the bottom that would be completely closed. And a V3 will, because so they're not making any changes. This has been it's been like this for well over a year, almost 2 years. When the original Optimus video had this foot basically the same, so they haven't changed that. Okay, so how fast? Braden, how fast is it going? Put your answers in an unmarked envelope.
I can't see it.
No, well, this is the calculation that we're going to go
No,
into. So, based on what you saw,
we're
going to attempt to find out how fast.
So walking speed is like
guess would be about 7 to 9 kilometers per hour, but I don't know what's that in miles.
And freedom units, I'm not quite sure what that is, but I think it's always like 5 is 3, so 5 kilometers is about 3. So you might be like 4.
Let's say about 4 to 6.
4 to 6. Okay. So you think it's like normal human walking speed. Okay. Now, what is the definition of velocity? How do you measure speed?
Time.
Distance divided by time, right?
Yeah.
So in order to figure it out, we have to figure out how much distance was covered in some amount of time. Right. And then we'll be able to calculate the velocity, right? So the first thing we need to do is figure out how far Optimus has gone. So as you can see, I've got these what look like virtual start and finish lines here. These blue lines that he put in there to try to take care of the perspective distortion that's on there. So the best I can kind of following that thing up. Okay. The thing is what's the distance between these two lines? We don't have a measuring stick. But we do have what we could call a yardstick, and that is Optimus. We know exactly how tall Optimus is. I mean, there are other things in it. Someone might know what the size of that poster is there, but I don't. So I can go out there and I can tell you Optimus is supposed to be like 1.73 meters. And so that means all we have to do is go ahead and create a square or a rectangle that's the size of Optimus.
Yeah.
And then copy it and paste and figure out how many of them go from start to finish. So that's what I did. And then
a little bit slouched down, so maybe you need to reduce
it's a little bit. So I may have I actually put in like a smaller number at first, taking care of that, and somewhere along the way I accidentally put in an extra digit I shouldn't have put in, and then the result of my calculator came out and told me that this was like 4 meters. And then when I discovered that, hey, wait a minute, just thinking about this, if this is even 1.5 meters, it's more than 4. So if Optimus is only at, with the crouching and everything. So I was trying to accommodate for that a little bit. So it's maybe somewhere between 6.5 and 6.5. I'm beginning to think that maybe I'm a bit long on that, or there's something else that's going on because things get rather surprising here. So that's my distance. I'm wondering if I downloaded the video correctly to actually get it, that it could count frames and everything else. Because when I brought it into a video editor, it was telling me how many frames per second it was and everything else in there. And so when I got to the point that Optimus is at the start line and I'm measuring the pelvis, I'm not measuring the foot, because you can remember there are times when he's running that his foot is stationary. And so if you're kind of using that, unless it's the exact same point of the stride or what's going in there, you're going to get the wrong result. So you really want to look at center of gravity moving along there. And so at 1 second and 6 frames starts, and 2 seconds and 23 frames in a 24 frame per second system. That's what I got. You do that, you get 1 and 17 frames. And then from that, you get about 1.71 seconds. I was expecting it to be closer to 2 seconds. So I'm still like, man, is that right? So if it is, and you do the calculation, you get 3.8 meters, which is, Royden, you were like off by almost a factor of 2, or I'm off by a factor of 2. I'm not sure which it is, but it's almost 14 kilometers per hour, or about 8.5. Now, I think I might be in the high side, but I had some people say that I'm not that far off, that it might at least be 7 or 7.5. So it's a little bit quick. I was expecting it to be just a little bit north of
miles
5
per hour. You mean?
Yeah, 5 miles per hour. I was expecting to be around 5 miles per hour. So that's why.
Was that the original promise by Elon, that max
5? But everyone else is going faster, and you saw the T800 come out yesterday from Engine AI, and it's like, yeah, all bets are off on these bots being so. Now, I'm not that worried because you know what they say, Royden? I don't have to run faster than Optimus. I just have to be faster than you.
Which you are.
Take the slow one first.
Exactly. So that's how I kind of
came
up with my
Meteor one as well. So there's now
Mehrdad, I see you absolutely smiling there because I can tell with like everything you've been doing in your poster, you are really good at getting scale correct. And you might do a better job. You might be able to come in here and say, a little bit off there. Again, I encourage everyone, if you can download the video and bring it into a video player, do this exercise at home and see if you're getting the same timestamp. Because when I was looking at it on X, you know, there's a little bit where we don't see him, and then he kind of comes through there, and it looked like about 2 seconds, but you only see 1, 2, 3. You don't get the fractions of a second in there. So it's about 2 seconds. I just don't know if it's a little bit under or if it's a little bit over 2 seconds. And then the distance, it's probably somewhere around there, at least 6 meters.
I think your calculation was very, very in-depth and it's very correct. The only thing I don't know is the information that we are receiving. Again, how do we know that this video is real time?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, the assumption is it's a real-time video, that it's not accidentally been sped up or slowed down. That's my concern, is that there's no time stamping or anything else to be able to verify that. Someone pointed out that, oh, wait a minute, the distance you're getting there is wrong because he's going on a diagonal. And it's like, okay, there's a little bit there, but it's not enough of an angle to matter. You know, you can still approximate the cosine is 1 at that point. So we'll see. The again, you know, we're rough order of magnitude around there. That is pretty quick. It's much faster than was really kind of needed to do most chores around the house and the factory and stuff like that. So, and of course, we don't know how long it lasts.
The other thing we were discussing also with some people on quadrupeds is that when you see them doing backflips and crazy things, then the battery wouldn't last more than 20 minutes or something. It's the same thing about humans. Like whenever they do these crazy moves, I become like, okay, but this is not the real life scenario because the battery cannot last so much. It's a lot of pressure on the motors when they have this fast running and backflips and so on. Same as the unitary robots. So
they overheat and they break.
Exactly.
So the actuators are gonna. So when the T800 video that they had there, I think that was something else to look at. And I'm just wondering, it's like, how long can it keep that up?
I think they'll just trash the robots after each demo.
That's what I hear a lot of them when they're doing a lot of the backflips. That's about it. It's disposable at that point. And even then, these battle bots, these boxing bots, they have a hard time. You know, Rec was having this tour. The problem is their bots are getting wrecked, and that they got to have all sorts of spare parts to be able to put them back together the next day if they're going to have 2 shows a night or something like that. They usually don't last very long. And I guess it's very common for like arms to fall off and everything else from these battles.
Yeah, they'll have to pitch them against the Robot Wars bots that have been around for decades now. The TV.
They are very expensive, this humanoid. So I don't think if they will make a war, but it's like BattleBot robots are very cheap usually to make. Like they try to lower the price. So as long as people are not super wealthy, I think we are safe.
Yeah. And like I say, just as long as I'm faster than the 3 of you,
exactly.
But also for bots that are built and designed for the battlefield, you don't have the weight constraints that you would need for a bot in the household for safety reasons. In fact, the heavier the bot in the battlefield, the better.
Yeah,
you want it to not be safe in the battlefield.
Exactly.
You want it to be brutal.
Yeah.
True, because like some of them, what was this? Tombstone was one of the winners for many years, and that was because it was very heavy. So if the blade of another robot was also hitting it, a similar robot, you wouldn't move it because of the inertia, right? So they try to really get the mass high to compensate for the angular momentum.
Yeah, and what about the Optimus, the hand videos? Anything new that you spotted there, Scott? Or
do you have it up?
More of the same old?
It is the same old, right?
It's the same. I think it's just a different color glove.
I think we saw a similar glove in a pamphlet before the earnings.
Yeah, because we've seen the gray glove on the tennis ball catch.
With the small slit for the fifth.
Yeah, and we've seen the V2 wearing black hands, but they did not seem like they were moving. So this is the first time we are seeing them moving on the golden bot, I guess you could say. Up until then.
And I mean, it's more or less the same motion as the one on the side. This is really funny. I wonder if there must have been something wrong with the ring finger there. I mean, it's like hanging. In one of the movements, it doesn't extend it fully. Like here. Or maybe it's later. I don't know. It's just hanging there. There in the beginning.
Oh, yeah,
right is that a sign, or is it just actually didn't?
It's a gang sign of some sort.
Probably it is.
And you do see
it still has this issue here with, and I mean, it is the same design as we had, but when you extend the wrist or flex the wrist, the finger is extended and it goes back. So they are not controlling the fingers strong enough. And also you can see that it can't really adduct the thumb. It's about out of the way. And also, as I said, for the manuscript, I really want to see if they could do a real fist. They don't really could with this. But it looks really real. I mean, with the glove and the thumb is in line with the forearm. It looks like from the side, it looks like a real hand. So even if it's not, and I mean the joints. Maybe you could just throw up
the joints are very exposed. So you'll notice when there's a close up on the hand and it's making that fist. That if you look at the IP joints, the top parts of the IP joints, you can see how the glove stretches over it. It's all very exposed, and that's how it's like, there's nothing new. It's the same design. Definitely the glove is designed a bit more for the hand where you have the palm joint that's in there. So the aesthetics looks nice, and then of course the hand that they had on display on the side is the same one that was at the shareholder meeting. So we've already gone through that, which is basically the same one that was seen on the pilot line back in April when they were making,
which was a continuation on the one from AI
Day. This is what was supposed to be coming off the pilot line in April anyway. All they did was they changed the color of it. So it's nothing new. The whole point of this event down there in San Diego, where this is shot at NeurIPS, is Tesla is there on a recruiting mission. So that's why they brought the goods out here and everything else, is to get a lot of people interested in it. And I think some of the engineers are there, and it sounds like some of them may be spilling the beans a little bit on some things, because I've heard someone told me this, someone told me that from the team. That kind of lines up with what Mehrdad is saying about some of the changes that are going to be coming in V3. But that's not a surprise. We already heard it from Elon that V3 won't look anything like the V2 versions. It's going to be,
and that's the whole bot, right? So we'll hopefully get rid of the back fanny pack that it has behind the lower back.
I think.
Could you throw up the picture I sent you, Royden, just to I don't know. People think that it's an impressive hand, and it is. I mean, I'm not going to complain, but there are some anatomical features that are evident here. So one is I try to copy the movement with my web or my phone cam, but you see that the joint for the ring finger, the joint is too far out. So the finger on the bot, the center of the axis is in the middle of the phalanx of the finger next to it. It should be below. So the joint is too far out. And also this crease for the fifth metacarpal. I mean, the fifth metacarpal, the base or the CMC joint is down at the same level as the CMC of the thumb. So it's that line or that crease more lines up with the MP joint here on the fifth rather than the CMC. So the CMC should be down here. They have put it up here. And then the skin goes all the way out here. So the joints are a bit too far out. The MP or the CMC for the fifth is too far out there. It should be at the same level as the CMC joint. But I mean, we'll see. Hopefully they adapt it to make me happy for the V3 design. but there are some things that kind of like doesn't line up in this, and that's probably why they can't do the full fist. They don't have the right length of the phalanx to make full
Exactly.
tight grip, and the thumb won't go all the way out to the side either. So it will be more like a.
Remember, we did see an image of Optimus closing, and that was from the shareholder meeting where everyone took the video, and you could see the fingers kind of closed like that. It was really big. I even have a hard time doing it. We can close it all the way down. That's the whole idea of getting, this kind of Fibonacci series with the length of each phalanx on there, so that it closes up like this. But Optimus had like this big gap going through there, and it was like clearly closed as much ago. And that was like rather surprising that part they didn't
get. It
might
also be due to the design of the joint. So we have this sliding joint. So this will go. Will break it if I try, but this will glide in underneath, where if you have a hinge joint you won't have the same gliding motion, so it might be hard to emulate that unless you make the joints really big, like circular. Maybe you could get it, but yeah, it's I can't wait. But then I'm also a bit nervous when they show the V3 hand, then the show is over. We have nothing more to say.
Yeah, exactly. We have nothing to speculate. Well, V4, how can they improve it? At least we'll have to explain how it works. The guesswork is that they're adding more actuators, because the mention that there'll be like, I think it was
20 per hand.
Well, remember Elon like tripped over his own wording, so he talked about 100, and then he remembered he meant 50 between both hands, so 25 in each hand, which meant the forearm, not the whole arm. So right now there's 19 if you put the wrist in there, so that means there's an excess of 7 in there, and they have basically 7 return mechanisms in there right now. So they have all the extensors are done with rubber bands, and then for the opposition, they have a torsion spring that's allowing the return there. So it's like, they're probably going to make all those active joints now rather than passive. So that's the first change that I see. And then we see what looks like a wedding cake with candles on it. So that is the Optimus arm there, which we already saw, not us, but those who got to go. The shareholder meeting got to see that, where you have 12 candles around the bottom, and then another 5 around the top, which are the 15. And then on the back side, you've got basically 2 bottle rockets sitting in the back there, which are the things that make and everyone that goes there, when you shoot a video, do a 360. Please do a 360. They always shoot it from the wrong perspective.
And don't go in and out. Just stay still for a while.
Yes,
from the side, then from the back.
Stay still. Go around behind the backside there, and you would then have a chance to actually see the actuators in the back that are actually.
We should have asked Phil Truby to do some camera work for us.
Oh, he was there.
Yeah, he was there, and now that Optimus over there, I'm not sure if that someone is manhandling literally the Optimus over there. I'm not sure if that is an actual one or if that is maybe one of the mannequins. Hard to say.
It's not running away, at least.
It's not running.
The legs are moving, so maybe it's on a stand of some sort as a mannequin.
Yeah, it might be on a stand, and I think it's probably one of the Tesla engineers, not just someone who's able to walk up there and start, hey, check this out.
I think it's on the girdle. It's on the.
Yeah, it's hanging from.
It's hanging on the charging stand, probably. Yeah.
I have a question. Have you ever seen any video of Optimus that both hands or fingers and both hands are moving and it's walking at the same time?
No. And
aside from
very little, we've only seen.
I guess in the AI day with the old version, perhaps the dancing ones did that, but not with this new tandem-based design with that one.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time we see one with 2 hands actually moving with the tandem-based design at all, and that's not running. The runner one, I don't know if it had. It didn't look too close.
I think it had static hands, like they were not really. The fingers were just so solid. They were not.
So it's the mannequin hand on the runner.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I suspect too. It was the mannequin hands on the runner. The other thing was interesting about the running style is it didn't run like Tom Cruise, but it actually had more of the arms going back and forth like that. So I was really surprised that Optimus was the arm swing there. And whether that's kind of what the RL came up with, is that much better for its running gait or not, or whether it just captured it from whoever was the running nerd that works at Optimus, If I was working there, it would be me probably.
Mostly the idea of whole body control that they are deploying in most of the humans now, that the robot is trying to keep its balance by moving the limbs. So, and
which is what we
really
do.
struck me was, exactly.
It almost looks tired there at the end. It's like,
right.
Yeah, and you notice that the forearm is up pretty high. And a lot of the robots that we've seen running in the past, they always run with their arms like really low, almost like orangutans, and they're just kind of dragging. And the arms will kind of move, but it just be a little bit in the shoulders, not really the full thing. And again, the Tom Cruise is like in the plane kind of thing, which turns out to be the worst running style of all. I mean, you think from a physics standpoint, that must be the most efficient, but it turns out it's really not. That you do want to get a little bit of that side to side, and it just looks like one of the guys down at the running club on Saturday morning, right?
One thing I learned actually
really
from one of these biologists was that the reason for us to move our hands while walking is not only because of the balance, it's also because we are basically neurologically wired to move our hands opposite to legs while we were walking in four legs. So this is more like a muscle memory that we are repeating, and happen to help also in the balance.
Well, that's
and the fascia probably has something to do with that.
Which one?
The fascia. So that's kind of like the connection tissue that holds everything in, and it also acts a little bit as like a communication channel that lets you sort of know that when you move that, it causes the other one to move. But from the there's all sorts of reasons that you want the arms to go through there. That's one of them. And I'm sure the RL has figured out that is also very efficient. And the other is that the reason why, anyone who's a good sprinter, you'll look at them and they have like all this upper body strength. You're like, what's that got to do with running? And it has to do with that, with the power that is absolutely necessary to create the force so you maintain contact. Otherwise, you jump off the ground, which you don't want. So you actually push down to maintain that contact to get the explosiveness. And I found it was always, whenever the cross-country season started out, beginning of the year, the part of our bodies that was the most tired, especially from running hills, was always our arms. We couldn't figure it out. It's like, because cross-country runners, we're just like weak upper bodies. We were always had legs. And so you begin to realize, that's like a really important part to running, way more important than you think.
Wow. This has been a brilliant chat, gentlemen. Thank you so much, Scott, Gustav, and Mehrdad.
Thank you
Such
very
a
much.
pleasure to have you, and I can't wait till our next chat.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care. Have a good day.